Hey everyone, welcome back to the Narcissist Exposed channel. I hope you're doing well and protecting your peace, wherever you are in your healing journey. Today's topic is one of the darkest and most disturbing sides of narcissistic behavior. What happens when a narcissist starts stalking you after you go no contact? These 5 tactics are chilling, manipulative, and psychologically dangerous, and understanding them might just save your sanity. When you go no contact with a narcissist, you're not just walking away from a person, you're cutting off their lifeline. To them, silence feels like rejection, humiliation, and exposure all rolled into one. They can't handle the idea that you've taken back control, so they start plotting ways to pull you back in. It's not love that drives them, it's fear of losing power, and when that fear turns to rage, stalking becomes their next weapon of control. The first tactic is digital surveillance. Narcissists are masters of invisible observation. Even when you've blocked them, they find ways to peer into your life, creating fake profiles, watching your stories through mutual friends, or checking your likes and comments. They scan every detail for meaning, desperate to know if you've moved on or if you still think about them. Every post becomes a psychological chess move in their desperate attempt to stay connected. They don't just scroll passively, they collect data. They'll remember who commented, what you wore, and even how often you smile in pictures. To them, your online activity is proof of whether their influence still lingers. If you look happy, they feel enraged. If you look sad, they feel victorious. Either way, your emotional state becomes their obsession. It's not curiosity, it's control disguised as attention. When they can't access your social media directly, they create fake accounts or manipulate mutual contacts to gather information. They might reach out to your friends pretending to check in, but their real goal is to learn everything they can. They want to know who you're dating, what you're doing, and how your life looks without them. It's not that they miss you, they miss owning you. If they can't find information online, they'll start reaching out indirectly. You might receive a message from an unknown number saying something vague like, "Hey, long time." Sometimes they'll pretend it's a mistake. Oops, wrong person, but you know better. These accidental messages are bait. They want to see if you'll respond, even out of curiosity. Once you do, they'll use that tiny crack in your boundary to wedge themselves back into your life. The second terrifying tactic is the use of flying monkeys, people they recruit to do their dirty work. These could be friends, family members, co-workers, or even total strangers from social media. Narcissists manipulate these individuals by spinning half-truths or playing the victim. "I just want closure," they might say. "I'm worried about them." But make no mistake, this is not concern, it's espionage. They use flying monkeys to gather intel, spread rumors, and test your boundaries. You might hear, "They just want to know if you're okay." That message is not care, it's bait. It's designed to make you drop your guard. Every piece of information they get, even something small like where you were last weekend, becomes fuel for their control. That's why protecting your privacy is not paranoia, it's survival. The third tactic is the illusion of indifference. Narcissists are cunning performers. When they sense you're pulling away, they'll act like they don't care at all. Suddenly, they're happy, posting glamorous photos, surrounded by friends, or flaunting a new relationship. But behind that show of confidence lies panic. The performance is meant to manipulate your emotions and make you doubt your decision to leave. They want you to think, maybe they've really moved on, but that illusion is their trap. Narcissists crave control, not closure. By pretending they're thriving, they're secretly hoping you'll break no contact out of confusion or jealousy. Every smile they post online hides a storm of anxiety. They can't stand the thought that you might be truly free. That's why they fake happiness so convincingly. The fourth and most psychologically disturbing tactic is what psychologists call emotional haunting. This is when they invade your peace of mind without physically appearing. You start noticing things that remind you of them. Their favorite song playing in a cafe, random messages from numbers that feel familiar, or seeing their car parked nearby. Some of it might be coincidence, but not all of it. Narcissists know how to manipulate your memory. They'll send cryptic messages, post references only you would understand, or casually bump into you in places they know you frequent. It's psychological warfare, subtle reminders that keep your emotions hooked. They want you to feel haunted, unsure if they're really gone, because confusion is power to them. When you ignore those signals, they'll escalate. Maybe they'll send an old photo or a random memory, saying something like, "Remember this?" It's never about nostalgia. It's about reactivating emotional attachment. They want to stir your empathy, make you question your boundaries, and test if they can still get inside your head. The fifth and most chilling tactic is covert physical stalking. This is where things move from emotional to dangerous. Some narcissists start appearing in your spaces, the grocery store, your favorite cafe, or even outside your work. They'll act surprised, "Oh, fancy seeing you here." But deep down, you know it's not coincidence. It's calculated intimidation masked as accident. They want you to feel uneasy, not enough to call the police, but just enough to remember that they can reach you anytime. It's their twisted way of saying, "You can't escape me." And while most narcissists won't cross the line into outright violence, their psychological games can make you feel trapped even when you're technically free. It's crucial to remember stalking is not love, it's control. Narcissists stalk not because they miss you, but because they can't stand that you've taken back your independence. In their mind, no contact is rebellion, and rebellion must be punished. The stalking is their attempt to reassert dominance, without ever admitting weakness. When they can't reach you directly, they'll resort to smear campaigns. They'll tell others you were the unstable one, that you're overreacting, that you're the reason things fell apart. It's another form of stalking, social stalking, where they attack your reputation to maintain psychological control. It's their way of saying, "Even if you're gone, I still control the story." Their goal is to make you question your sanity. You'll start wondering, am I overreacting? Am I imagining this? That self-doubt is exactly what they want. The more you question your perception, the easier it is for them to slip back into your life unnoticed. Gaslighting doesn't stop when the relationship ends, it just changes form. And when none of those tactics work, they play the victim. Suddenly, they're heartbroken, misunderstood, or just trying to make things right. They might send emotional messages, or have mutual friends plead on their behalf. It's not genuine remorse, it's manipulation in disguise. They want sympathy, not accountability. This emotional baiting can be dangerous because it appeals to your empathy. You start thinking, maybe they've changed, maybe they really miss me. But remember, narcissists don't change, they adapt. What they miss is not you, it's your attention, your energy, your validation. They're not trying to heal the relationship. They're trying to reopen the wound. If they sense your empathy weakening your boundaries, they'll pounce. Suddenly they'll act like the perfect partner again. Gentle, understanding, reflective. But as soon as you let your guard down, the cycle of control begins all over. Their stalking turns into charm, and charm turns into chains. Psychologists call this pattern hoovering, named after the vacuum cleaner, because that's exactly what they do. They suck you back in. Every accidental encounter, every late-night text, every fake apology is part of that strategy. It's not affection, it's a hunt for control. The most effective defense is silence and consistency. Narcissists thrive on chaos and emotional reaction. When you don't react, they panic. When you stay silent, they lose direction. Every day you stay firm, you're breaking the addiction they tried to build inside you. Understand this. The narcissist stalking isn't about you. It's about their inability to handle loss. They see your independence as an insult, your silence as betrayal, and your happiness as revenge. What they're really chasing isn't love. It's the illusion of power they lost when you stopped caring. But you hold the real power now. Every time you refuse to respond, you're teaching them something they were never ready to learn, that you are not their property. Your peace is no longer theirs to disturb. Your silence is the mirror reflecting back their emptiness. And as their control slips away, you'll see them grow desperate, erratic, unpredictable. Don't mistake that desperation for love. It's just the sound of their ego collapsing. Keep your boundaries strong, your communication zero, and your focus on healing. You're not running from them, you're running toward your freedom. Once their panic turns to rage, a narcissist may switch from subtle stalking to open provocation. They might suddenly reappear in your social circle, attend the same events, or interact with people close to you. This isn't coincidence, it's psychological warfare. They want you to see them, to feel their presence again, to question if your no contact is even working. Their goal is to re-enter your mental space by force, not invitation. Some narcissists will even fake emergencies. You might get messages like, "I really need to talk," or "something terrible happened." These are emotional traps designed to bypass your logic. They exploit your compassion, knowing you're someone who cares deeply. But if you break no contact to check in, you've given them exactly what they wanted: access and emotional leverage. In many cases, their stalking isn't random. It follows a timeline. It begins with confusion, shifts into anger, then turns into obsession. When they realize they can't control you, they start controlling the narrative. This means spreading lies or half-truths about you, twisting your story to anyone who will listen. It's how they protect their ego from collapse. If they can't control your heart, they'll try to control your reputation. This phase can feel like psychological suffocation. People you thought were mutual friends start acting distant. You hear strange stories about yourself, things you never said or did. That's the narcissist smear campaign in motion. They stalk your name, your reputation, your peace. It's designed to isolate you, to make you question your own reality. When that fails, they may resort to sympathy stalking. Suddenly, they act broken. They might post quotes about heartbreak, sadness, or forgiveness. They paint themselves as the victim who just wanted love. It's a tactic that preys on your empathy. They know your kind heart can't stand seeing people suffer, especially those you once loved. But don't be fooled. It's not suffering. It's strategy. What's haunting is that even when they're the ones who destroyed everything, they'll still convince others that you were the one who left them in pain. They rewrite history in real time. The stalking becomes a stage performance, one where they play the wounded soul and you, the cruel abandoner. This false narrative is their mask, their shield against accountability. Psychologists describe this as narcissistic self-preservation. Their identity is built entirely on external validation. Losing your attention feels like emotional death, so they'll do anything to resurrect it, even if it means stalking, manipulating, or fabricating entire stories. Their goal isn't reconciliation, it's self-survival. They will alternate between cruelty and charm, depending on what they think might work. One week they're bitter and cold, posting passive-aggressive messages. The next, they're warm and nostalgic, sending you old photos or messages like, "Remember this day?" It's emotional whiplash, a way to keep you guessing, off balance, and emotionally engaged. If you ignore both their anger and their sweetness, the mask begins to slip. You'll see glimpses of who they really are, frightened, insecure, and lost. Narcissists fear irrelevance more than anything. Your silence forces them to confront that fear. That's why they double down with these scary tactics. They're fighting to protect a fragile illusion, the belief that they still matter. But here's the truth they can't face. Your silence is power. Every day you stay no contact, they lose control. Every boundary you reinforce becomes another mirror showing them what they truly are: dependent, desperate, and hollow. That realization is unbearable to them, which is why they lash out, but their rage is also proof that you're healing. Some survivors describe this stage as the storm before the calm. It's when the narcissist throws everything they can to pull you back. Threats, guilt trips, fake apologies, even false promises of change. But the storm always burns out. Their energy isn't infinite. It's fueled by reaction. The moment you stop giving it, they start to fade. They may try one final trick, pretending to respect your boundaries. You might hear, "I get it, I'll stop contacting you," or "I'm moving on." But then, days later, they reappear in subtle ways, watching your stories, liking old photos, or sending messages through others. They never truly respect boundaries. They just look for new ways around them. If they sense you're doing better, they'll feel threatened. Your healing is their worst nightmare. It proves they weren't as powerful as they thought. So they'll start a new smear campaign, trying to make your peace look like arrogance. They'll say, they think they're too good now, or they've changed. What they really mean is you escaped, and I couldn't stop it. At this stage, you must remind yourself, healing isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Every act of self-care, every day of silence, every boundary you hold is a declaration of freedom. You're telling the universe, I choose peace over pain, and that's something the narcissist can't comprehend, because peace is foreign to them. Some people worry that ignoring the narcissist is cruel. It's not. It's protection. Responding to their games only gives them energy. Ignoring them is not revenge, it's refusal. Refusal to be used, to be drained, to be manipulated. You're not being heartless, you're being wise. You're doing what they never did. Valuing your own well-being. Even if they move on to a new target, don't envy the next person. Remember, every new supply is just another chapter in the same tragedy. That person isn't special. They're just next. And soon they'll learn what you learned, that the love of a narcissist is a performance that always ends in exhaustion and heartbreak. Eventually their stalking will lose momentum. They'll grow bored, find new prey, or simply collapse under their own instability. But even then, you might get random reappearances months or years later. This is called resurfacing. It's not nostalgia, it's a test. They want to know if your door is still open. Make sure it's locked. You'll know you've won when their presence no longer affects your peace. When you can see their name without your heart racing, hear their voice without your stomach twisting. That's freedom. You've reclaimed not just your safety, but your emotional sovereignty. You're no longer their victim. You're your own protector. Healing from a narcissist stalking isn't just about distance. It's about transformation. You begin to rebuild the parts of yourself they tried to erase. Your laughter returns. Your sleep deepens. You find joy in the simplest things again, and that, more than anything, is what destroys them. Your happiness, without their permission. It's important to understand that narcissists don't stop because they care. They stop because they lose access. Your boundaries are not negotiable. They are your safety net, your invisible armor. Every no you say reinforces your strength. It tells the universe that you are no longer available for pain disguised as love. So if you're dealing with stalking after no contact, remember this is not your fault. You didn't invite it, you didn't cause it, and you don't deserve it. What's happening is the narcissist's ego crumbling under the weight of rejection. You're witnessing their unraveling, not your failure. Stay grounded in that truth. Their stalking is loud, but your silence is louder. The more they reach, the more you retreat into peace. You'll start to notice that their noise loses impact over time. The things that once terrified you now feel empty, predictable, and powerless. That's growth, quiet, steady, and unstoppable. In the end, the narcissist's scariest tactics only prove one thing. You have something they'll never possess: emotional freedom. You can walk away, rebuild, and heal. They can't. They're trapped in their own cycle of fear and control, forever chasing what they destroyed. You've already escaped the cage they still live in. So don't waste your energy wondering when they'll stop or if they'll regret it. Your life is no longer about their choices. It's about your rebirth. Every morning you wake up in peace. Every smile that isn't forced, every deep breath without fear, that's your victory. You don't need revenge. You already won. If this message brought you strength, clarity, or comfort, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. You never know who else might need to hear this today. Remember, the narcissist's power ends where your peace begins. Stay grounded, stay safe, and keep choosing yourself. Your silence is not weakness. It's the sound of your freedom echoing louder than their noise ever could.